A Republican congressman just admitted what we've been saying all along. His own party has been protecting wealthy predators. And now he's threatening to blow it all up. What's up, patriots? Welcome back to the channel where we call out corruption wherever we find it, left, right, or center. If you believe in real justice and accountability for the powerful, smash that like button and subscribe right now because YouTube doesn't want you seeing content that challenges the system. Ring that notification bell so you never miss a fight for the
because he's threatening to read the Epstein Client List on the House floor.
The speaker has decided that there should be a new class of victims that are protected. He thinks that the rich men who flew on the jets to the rape island should be protected against unfounded accusations. But here's the problem. There are guilty men that his provisions that he wants would protect that have never been investigated, that there are credible allegations of sexual abuse and rape against. And so the Senate would be fools to start trying to change his bill in the way that Speaker Johnson wants it changed.
And why do you think the speaker changed his vote ultimately, or changed his tune, I should say, and then voted accordingly?
Two reasons, but they kind of go back to the same reason. Number one, Trump told him to do it, and this Speaker of the House is always going to do whatever President Trump wants. Number two, they both, I think, came to the conclusion that Trump was asking my colleagues to walk a plank that was going to cost them the majority, and then that it would be no good for the president or our speaker in that instance. So I think it was a political calculation.
Can you just explain, though? I mean, the whiplash that we were seeing here from going from this bill looking like it had no chance to now passing overwhelmingly and potentially being law by the end of the night.
Have I done an interview with you when you've said, surely you know this must be dead on arrival in the Senate or something? But no, it has gone from presumably dead on arrival, presumably getting vetoed, to now getting fast-tracked and having a nearly unanimous majority here in the House. And I think it's because three brave women, Lauren Boebert, Nancy Mace, and Marjorie Taylor Greene, couldn't be flipped. I think all along they were hoping they could flip those women into taking their names off of the petition, and they never could.
It's a concern about the political falloff of the GOP, which caused the speaker to change his mind, you think?
Absolutely. The president was pitting the GOP conference against our own base. Like 80% of Republicans wanted these files released, and the other 20% just didn't care. There's literally nobody who said not to release these files. And it was also a campaign promise. I think the calculation ultimately for the speaker and the president was a political calculation. They realized this could jeopardize the majority if they took the side, literally the side of pedophiles and rapists.
And what if they don't release the files now?
Because
they could say it's an investigation that's ongoing.
Today, they decided to pull the Band-Aid off. I hope they continue that effort in the Senate and in the White House. We will know when the Epstein files are released because men will go to prison. And until that happens, the justice hasn't been served. I know through the victims' lawyers, there are at least 20 credible accusations of rape and sex trafficking that have been relayed to the FBI, and they've done nothing about it. And it resides in their 302 files. The White House has announced a bunch of partisan investigations. I think that's a bad idea. This was never a partisan issue. And I think it's another bad idea if, I'm not sure their motivations, but if that was to create silos of information that can't be released based on these investigations. But even if they start 10 investigations, there's no way they're going to cover up the crimes that have been perpetrated on 1,000 victims. So names of rich and powerful men will get released when the president signs this bill. And they are criminally liable at the DOJ and FBI if they don't release these files. This is a law. It's a steep effort, right? Not just to do a discharge petition and get it passed through the House, but to get the Senate to pass it and get the White House to sign it. We're not there yet, but when we get there, this is not a subpoena. This is a law.
And so you are confident that these documents will ultimately come out, even if the president tries to fight this?
Yes, I'm confident. And we sort of, we know when they're out because we know what some of these lists, who some of the men are. I don't have the names in my head right now. The ultimate thing that we could do is read the names on the floor of the House, and that could happen. But what needs to happen is the FBI needs to release these names.
Is that something you might do if he resists this, if the DOJ releases this? Could you go to the floor and read these names?
We absolutely would do that. Marjorie would do that. I would do that. There are Democrats who would do that. And, but that's not the right path forward. That's the last effort if we hit all of the walls. But so far, we're making it through the walls and over the walls, and we're getting this done.
And how much time are you willing to give the president and the administration to release these documents when this becomes law?
I've never set a timeline. The victims have waited a very long time to get justice. And it's really up to them.
Folks, what you're about to hear should make every American's blood boil. Republican Congressman Thomas Massie just went scorched earth on his own party leadership, and for once, I'm standing with a GOP member because he's calling out exactly what we've been screaming about for years. Listen to this. Massie straight up accused Speaker Mike Johnson of trying to protect, and I quote, rich men who flew on the jets to the rape island. Let that sink in. A Republican is admitting his own speaker tried to shield wealthy elites from accountability. This isn't some left-wing conspiracy theory anymore. This is coming from inside their own house. And you know what really gets me fired up? Massie says there are at least 20 credible accusations of rape and sex trafficking that victims' lawyers have given to the FBI, and they've done nothing. 20 victims ignored. 20 cries for justice silenced. Why? Because in America, justice has a price tag, and if you're rich enough, you're untouchable. But here's where it gets even more disgusting. Massie admits the only reason Speaker Johnson flipped was because Trump told him to. Not because it was right. Not because victims deserve justice. But because one man snapped his fingers. That's not democracy. That's not patriotism. That's servitude to power. And let me be crystal clear here. This isn't just about Republicans. Democrats have their own skeletons in this closet. How many times have we seen both parties close ranks to protect their donors and allies? The Epstein case crosses party lines because corruption crosses party lines. Money doesn't care if you're red or blue. It just wants protection. But credit where it's due. 3 Republican women, Boebert, Mace, and Green, refused to back down. And you know what? Good for them. When you're fighting for victims against predators, I don't care what letter is next to your name. This is about basic human decency. Now Massie's threatening to read these names on the House floor if they don't release the files. You know what that means? Once it's in the congressional record, it's public forever. No redactions, no cover-ups, no more protection for the powerful. And I say do it. Because here's what really matters. Massie said, men will go to prison when these files come out. When, not if. That means there are criminals walking free right now because our justice system protects wealth over victims. Think about what this admission means. The FBI has evidence. They have names. They have testimony. And they've sat on it. Every day they don't act is another day victims don't get justice. Every day they protect these predators is a betrayal of everything America is supposed to stand for. And Massie nailed it when he said the GOP was taking the side of pedophiles and rapists. Those are his words about his party. When 80% of Republicans wanted transparency and leadership fought against it, they showed us exactly whose interests they serve. Not the people. Not the victims. The elite. This is bigger than Epstein. This is about a system designed to protect the powerful at the expense of the vulnerable. It's about an FBI that ignores crimes when the criminals are rich enough. It's about politicians who take orders from billionaires instead of voters. It's about a 2-tiered justice system where your bank account determines your accountability. You want to know why people don't trust institutions anymore? This right here. When a congressman has to threaten to go rogue just to get basic transparency, the system is broken. When victims have to wait years for justice while their abusers walk free, the system is broken. When political calculations matter more than protecting children, the system is beyond broken. It's complicit. So what do? We keep the pressure on. We demand these files get released. All of them, not some sanitized version. We support anyone, left or right, who fights for transparency. And we never forget that in America, justice shouldn't be for sale. If you're as fired up as I am, share this video everywhere. The only way we win is if we refuse to let the memory hold us. Like, subscribe, and join me next time as we continue exposing how deep this corruption really goes. Remember, we're not left versus right. We're bottom versus top. And it's time the top faced some accountability. Stay angry, stay informed, and keep fighting. Peace out, patriots.